What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Australian Elite and Elite Qualifier Leagues, as well as the Australian Twitter League Analyzed. We'll look at the managers, how they've done well in Game Week 3, and have a look at what Game Week 4 could look like. Now, if you are new, make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button as well. And if you've done well, or if you haven't done well in Game Week 3, it's alright. Still early. We've got a long way to go. Let's see what the top managers from these leagues have done. Let's see whether that can help you to improve your game in Game Week 4. Having said all of that, let's get into the video. Alright, first up, let's look at the tables. So, shout out to everyone in the top 10 of each of the leagues. Australian Twitter League, Usama Farah takes top spot with 219 points. And then Cody and David are the next two. Rob, congrats, manager of the game week, 72 points. Australian Elite, we've got Donald right on top, followed by Angus and Pradeep right in second and third. Mark Sainsbury takes the manager of the game week as well. And then the Elite Qualifier, we've got Lincoln, Bear, and Damon in the top 3 spots. It mentions Tom as the manager of the game week, but shout out to Hafiz, who is the actual manager of the game week. Tom unfortunately had a -4, which we didn't account for, but Hafiz with 60 points. And also, right, as you can see in the top 10 of the Elite Qualifier, he was the manager of the game week. So shout out to him. Shout out to Tom as well. Both had great game weeks. So shout out to everyone in the top 10 of their respective leagues. The Twitter League, as usual, still leading the way. When will we see one of the Elite or Elite Qualifier leagues overtaking the Twitter League in terms of total points? Let me know. Will there be a manager from one of these leagues that overtakes the Twitter League? Let me know in the comments. And if so, what game week are we expecting that to happen? For now, the Twitter League leads in first place, followed by the Qualifier League, and then the Elite League. The Elite League is supposed to be the best of the best, but right now, there's still a long way to go for the best of the best. Having said all of that, let's move on to manager highlights. Now, this is a new section I've decided to add, taken from Premier Fantasy Tools. Like I mentioned, manager of the week, Hafiz as well for Elite Qualifier. But we also can see kind of the biggest rise and biggest fall. So Mark had a rise of 10 spots. Tom had a fall of 9 spots. Same thing in Elite Qualifier. Hafiz climbed up by 13 spots. Column fell by 9 spots. In the Twitter League, Thomas 115 spot rise and Brendan 45 spot fall. In terms of best transfers this week, Tian 11 points. I think that's the Perisic probably. In the Qualifier League, Rushant, who's a member of the Football Chatbox podcast as well, 13 points, net points. I wonder what he bought in. I need to check and see. I don't remember. And then Cody with 11 points as well. I don't know if it's a Perisic. Could be a Perisic. You never know. In terms of worst transfers, they qualified. Damon 19 points. What move did you make, my friend? Same thing in the Twitter League as well. And then Philip -9 points. Probably 2 transfers there that might have been lost out. Most transfers, Leanne leads the way in the Elite Qualifier with 4 transfers so far. But interestingly, we got a couple people who have 0 transfers so far. James with 0 transfers, Matty Day with 0 transfers. I know Matty Day has played a wild card, so that's probably why 0 transfers. And Aditya as well with 0 transfers. Team value, quite a few managers on 101. Lawrence on 101 after a couple chips played as well. But yeah, so far this is the overall highlights of the leagues. Keep in mind that when we're looking at a Twitter League, we're looking at the top 50 managers only, because there isn't a tool at least to get the entire league. It's not possible at the moment. But so we'll be looking at top 50 most of the time. Template. Now, there's been a lot of talk with regards to template potentially changing. This is the template from Game Week 2. The Game Week 2 template before Game Week 3 started. This was the template. Going into Game Week 3, we kind of see a few changes. We see Trippier has dropped out a lot in all three leagues. If you see, this is going back again. Trippier has dropped out a lot. We see Leon Bay and Neto here, but we see a lot of Leon Bay and Neto gone. Twitter League still has Neto, but we've seen the introduction of Andres Pereira. Now, Andres Pereira could have been on the bench for a lot of players, but they would have started him. So, congrats to everyone who managed to start Andres Pereira or even got him off the bench and got his points. We see Mason Mount still there, but we see the introduction of Luis Diaz in most of these leagues. The Elite Qualifier and the Elite League both see an introduction of Luis Diaz, where previously you had Neto. He's gone out. Neto or Leon Bay, one of them have fallen out. And you see the introduction of Luis Diaz. In terms of the strikers, it's the same for both the Elite and Elite Qualifier. The template strikers haven't changed. The Twitter League template striker did change. Callum Wilson's out. Tony's in. I mean, Callum Wilson, injury as well now. So we don't know how long he's going to be out for. So the template in terms of strikers has remained the same between the Elite Qualifier and the Twitter League. Whereas the Australian Elite has Harry Kane in there. Now, Haaland is at a high ownership in amongst all of this. The questions will remain as to see whether managers will start to move out of Haaland with regards to Pep's recent comments. We'll just have to wait and see. Me personally, I think you kind of still hold and wait with regards to him and just see what his minutes are like before making a move. Goalkeeper situation. Ward is still in the Australian Elite. I kind of think that's another reason why the Australian Elite is a bit more low in terms of points. Maybe a move to another goalkeeper. Is it on the cards? We'll have to wait and see. But others have Ramsdale. I mean, if you're stuck with a Ward and Iverson combo, if you are making a transfer, I don't mind moving to a Sanchez or a Rea. But if you're doing for a hit, I am a bit unsure on that specific regard. But if you're doing just for one transfer, I would probably make that move. Terms of defense, very similar defenses. We see a double Chelsea in the Australian Elite Qualifier. We see Perisic in the Twitter League. The question will be what happens to Robertson. Now, Robertson is in the Australian Elite and Elite Qualifier template. Will he drop? Will we start seeing more Perisic? That's one possibility. Will there be more Cucurella as well? Amongst the other two leagues, we'll have to wait and see. But I'm not expecting too much change in the midfield. I think Mount will be the one that I see dropping a bit from the Elite and Elite Qualifiers. Who will come in? We'll have to see. I think Saka will also drop from the Elite Qualifier quite a bit. Again, we'll have to see template. I think Andres Pereira could appear a bit more. But we'll have to see in terms of template. We'll see Game Week 4 whether there is a shift towards the template. But this is the template in terms of Game Week 3. Captaincy. Salah dominated most of the captaincy slots. You had a few Hurricanes in the Elite and Elite Qualifier. You got a couple Heung-min Sons, which didn't pay off, unfortunately. You got Gabriel Jesus, which was almost an equal number in all three leagues. You had a Zaha in the Twitter League as well, which was interesting. But yeah, mostly Salah. I guess overall, when you look at the top three, Salah, Haaland, and Jesus, Salah did eventually outscore. But I think Gabriel Jesus and Haaland, whether you captained either, you probably should have ended up with more points, to be honest. So you probably were hard done by, but I think the decisions that you made to go for Gabriel Jesus or Haaland were kind of justified. They could have had more points, but it is what it is. So that's captaincy. I'm expecting a lot more of Salah for Game Week 4. Will there be differential captains? We'll wait and see. Moving on. Australian Elite transfer analysis. A lot of moves. We see a lot of James Cucurella in. We can see a couple Brighton players in. March Dunk, Pascal Gross. A lot of Da Silva. Now I'm hoping you guys got Da Silva on 4.5 and not 4.6. Because on 4.6 I don't think he's worth it. A couple Reeds. Me personally, I've gone for Reed as well. Rodrigo. Someone got Rodrigo earlier. I hope you got the points. A couple Perisic. Quite a few Arsenal players in. De Bruyne, Walker, Luis Diaz. So we've seen a couple Arsenals, Cities, Brightons, and Chelsea's. We'll have to see. In terms of the outs, a lot of the Aston Villa players out. Neto out. Son out. United players out. I mean, are we thinking about bringing them back in? We don't know. Quite a few Nico Williams out, which I wouldn't have expected. Quite a few Robertsons out. I think that'll increase even more. Mount as well, a couple outs. That's from the Elite. In terms of the elite qualifier, again, a lot of Aston Villa players, that huge Aston Villa maroon color is out. We've got quite a few Trippiers. Unfortunately, I probably wouldn't have recommended the Trippier out move because Newcastle are a better team compared to under Mike Ashley. We kind of had to reevaluate how we look at Newcastle's defense. And also Trippier, I mean, he showed on the weekend capable of getting a set piece goal. I probably think I still think Trippier is a good player to own. If you wanted to, you could probably drop for the Liverpool game and don't transfer out, but rotate with like Andres Pereira. We see a lot of Robertson out in the elite qualifier. I think there'll be quite a few more of that coming this game week as well. Maybe again a lot of Da Silva in, and also a couple other Brentford players. We see a huge double Chelsea defense, which is why you saw Cucurella and James on the template. A couple Pascal Gross, Zaha, and Eze. I think keep an eye out for Zaha and Eze. Could increase at least Zaha. At least I think he's a good player to own in the upcoming game weeks. I'll be interested to see Rodrigo. There's a lot of talk. We'll see whether he appears in one of these transfers in for game week 4. Twitter League. Huge, lot of things happening in Twitter League. We got again the Brentford Lord. Again, Rodrigo in the Twitter League. Managers are a bit more active. Twitter League, they've gone early. We see a bit of Brighton, bit of Chelsea, bit of Arsenal increase. Perisic 4. In terms of outs, a lot of Newcastle players out. A lot of Aston Villa and a lot of Neto. Those are the dominant ones. We got a couple of Robertson, a few Nico Williams, Darwin Nunes's, Rashford's. Unlucky with the Rashford ones. So we've got a few of those as well in terms of outs, but mainly Neto, Leon Bailey, and Trippier. Unfortunately, Trippier. So those were the transfers. Let's move in to the managers' teams. Let's have a look at the teams. But before we go to the teams, I must mention chips. Let's talk about chip usage. Now, in the Elite League, chip usage, there has only been for game week 3, Mark played a bench boost, and FPL Liu played his wildcard. So a wildcard and a bench boost so far used in the Elite League. No other chips used. Only 2 chips used this game week. In the Elite Qualifier, we had 3 wildcards. We had Ben playing a wildcard, Quinton playing a wildcard, and also Matt playing a wildcard in game week 3. Apart from that, we didn't have any other chips used in game week 3. And in terms of chip usage for Twitter League, in the top 50, we had Timothy playing a triple captain. And he captained Gabriel Jesus, unlucky. And we had no others in terms of chips for game week 3. So that's it for chip usage. We'll be interested to see. I think game week 8, game week 9 is where we're going to see a lot of wildcards. We'll see how it goes. Will a few more there are a couple other managers who are also thinking of like wildcarding. We'll see come game week 4 what happens with regards to chips. Now let's move on to the teams, shall we? Australian Elite, this is your table. I'm 11th, 1 point behind Peter. I'm coming for you, Peter. So I'm on 11th, but this is basically your table for the Australian Elite. This is your Australian Elite qualifier. Prashant, my podcast mate, also on 11th, 1 point behind. Oh no. But yeah, this is your Elite qualifier and your Twitter League. This is how the table looks. All the way to your top 50. I'm 100th. Oh my god, long way to go for me on the Twitter League. So shall we have a look at the top 3 teams from each league? Let's start with the Australian Elite. So let's first look at Donald's team. 50 points. Perisic. That's where the points are. Drewsbury Hall, interesting. Salah captain, paid off. I mean, the rest I think is pretty similar. Most players will have very similar teams. I like the team going ahead as well. I guess it looks pretty good. The question is, I mean, what would I change? I probably wouldn't change too much from this team, to be honest. I think it looks pretty solid going ahead for the next game week as well. You've gone early on Perisic, got rewarded. Defense, bit unlucky for every manager. But yeah, so far pretty good. Angus in second place. Big at the back. Is he going to remain with Robertson? We'll have to wait and see. Pascal Gross there. Salah captaincy. Andres on second bench. We'll see. I think the double Chelsea defense, you can still kind of keep. Double Liverpool defense for this game week against Bournemouth isn't too bad as well, I think. But going forward after that, I think there are better options elsewhere, to be honest, in terms of cheaper values who are offering probably better value at the moment. Pradeep in number 3, big at the back again. Unfortunate double City defense. Luis Dunk, I think that's pretty good. If you don't have Sanchez, Luis Dunk is a perfectly good alternative option for a Brighton defense. And Brighton are in the top 3 defense in the last 3 game weeks for expected goals conceded. So Luis Dunk, pretty good option. Salah captain as well over here. Now, that's your top 3 for the Elite League. Let's move on to the Elite Qualifier. So you got Lincoln, Bear and Damon. Let's have a look at their teams now. Double Chelsea defense. Pascal Gross moved in early. Salah captain over here. Very similar teams as well. Ramsdale goalkeeper. Andres on the bench. We've got Bear, who's got a mixture, but double Liverpool defense. Sanchez goalkeeper. Pascal Gross. Again, another Pascal Gross. And a Gabriel Jesus captaincy. Unlucky on there. But De Bruyne in midfield, not too bad. I think now you probably wouldn't move on Haaland now that you know that news as well. So I think Gabriel Jesus is fine. Question is, do you want to go for a second striker? I think there are a couple of good options in strikers as well. Mitrovic, Tony, maybe Darwin Núñez once he comes back could be good options as well. And then we've got Damon, who's got Ramsdale, Cancelo, Walker, double City defense. Walker got ripped. He got sent to the cleaners and got retired by Saint Maximin. So we'll see whether Walker plays. I think he might, but coming against Zaha again, we'll have to see. Fornals, I think Fornals is someone you probably, West Ham in general don't look good, but Rodrigo, you moved in early, pretty good on there. The rest of the team pretty solid as well. So that's your Elite Qualifier managers, top 3. Let's look at the Twitter League. So, first up, Usama, Cody, and David. Perisic moved in early. Andres, well done, well played. Tony as well, front 3. So, it's a 4-3-3. Salah, captaincy. Defense is very similar compared to most managers at the moment. Perisic is the only outline. Again, another 4-4. This is a 4-4-2 formation. Salah captain. Rodrigo, well done. Moved in early on. Rodrigo got benefited from it basically. Ramsdale in goal. And then we are moving to the final manager, which is David. Perisic again. So you kind of see Perisic or Rodrigo managers have moved in, got the benefit from that. Jensen from Brentford, very interesting. And the rest are very similar in terms of players. 4-4-2 as well. So we're looking at a lot of 4-4-2, 4-4-3. Is the bigger the back, or at least the back 5, will it be fading out? We'll have to see. But yeah, those are your leagues. Basically, who will make the top 10 next week? We'll have a look and see. But these are your top 10s for each of the leagues. Anything else to add? I don't really think so. So let me know what you guys think about all of that. If you are new, right, make sure to hit that like button. Hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, as well as comment down below. How did Game Week 3 go for you? What are you looking into playing for Game Week 4? Thank you all for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you're new, and let's see how Game Week 4 goes, and also Game Week 5, because I'm thinking maybe we analyze this after Game Week 5. So we'll analyze Game Week 4 and 5. We'll have a look, and probably the video will come out probably after Game Week 5 or after Game Week 4. I haven't decided on that yet. Let me know in the comments maybe what I should do. Probably do Game Week 4 and then the week after look at Game Week 6. Let me know what you guys think. But yeah, that's the video. Hopefully it helps in terms of looking at what the managers are doing in terms of transfers out, transfers in. Perisic, pretty good, I think. Rodrigo, I would expect to see as well a couple managers going there. Zaha maybe as well in a couple game weeks time. we'll see how the teams and the templates evolve. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Enough of my rambling. I'll see you guys later. Peace out.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us.